Mike Mentzer thought a lot of lifters were wasting effort on the least productive part of the rep, and not because they were lazy or scared to train hard. It was more because they were putting all this energy into moving the weight when the real goal should have been creating the strongest possible muscular contraction. And that idea is what led him into one of the more interesting parts of his later heavy-duty philosophy: static holds, or more specifically, static contraction training. At first, the method sounds almost too simple. Instead of doing a normal set through a full range of motion, you take a weight into the strongest contracted position, hold it there as hard as you can, and then lower it slowly under control. That's basically it. But once you understand how Mentzer looked at training, it starts to make a lot more sense. His argument was never just train less. That's the lazy internet version. His real argument was that the body doesn't grow from endless work. It grows from the right stimulus, applied with enough intensity, and then enough recovery to actually adapt from it. That's an important distinction because a lot of people hear low volume and immediately think it means easy. But Mentzer wasn't talking about easy training. He was talking about concentrated effort, a small amount of work done so hard that adding more doesn't really improve the stimulus. It just digs a deeper recovery hole. Static contraction training fits right into that idea, because if the goal is to create the highest possible muscular tension, then we have to ask a question most lifters never really think about. Is the lifting part of the rep always the most important part? Most people just assume the answer is yes because we call it weightlifting. But Mentzer challenged that. He looked at a rep as having different strength levels. You've got the positive portion where you lift the weight, you've got the static portion where you hold the weight, and then you've got the negative portion where you lower the weight. But those aren't equal. You're weakest when you're lifting the weight, stronger when you're holding it, and strongest when you're lowering it. So if the positive portion is actually the weakest part of the movement, Mentzer's question was basically, why would a bodybuilder build the whole training stimulus around the part where he can produce the least force? That's the key point. A bodybuilder isn't a powerlifter. The goal isn't just to move weight from point A to point B. The goal is to stimulate muscle growth. And muscle growth is driven mostly by high tension, high effort, and enough recovery to actually grow from the work. So Mentzer started looking at the contracted position differently. The fully contracted position is where the target muscle is shortened, loaded, and forced to create tension without getting as much help from momentum, bouncing, swinging, or using the stretch reflex to sneak through the rep. It's just the muscle fighting the resistance. When you hold a heavy weight in that position, something different happens. You're not just doing reps anymore. You're producing force. That's why static holds can feel so nasty when they're done correctly. They might look simple from the outside, but inside the body, your nervous system is being forced to recruit as much output as possible right now. There's no rhythm to hide behind, no bounce to save you, and no sloppy tempo where you can turn the set into something easier than it should be. That's why isometrics and static holds were interesting to so many old school strength thinkers. They understood that movement isn't the only thing the body responds to. The body responds to force demand. It responds to mechanical tension. It responds to intensity of effort. Static contraction training takes those things and strips away a lot of the noise. Now, that doesn't mean full range lifting is useless. That's not what I'm saying, and that's not really what Mentzer was saying either. He still used normal lifting. He still believed in progressive overload, and he still cared about hard sets. But he also thought the positive portion of the rep was often overvalued, especially for bodybuilding. The reason is pretty simple. If you're using a weight you can lift for reps, that weight is automatically limited by your weakest strength level. You can hold more than you can lift, and you can lower more than you can hold. So Mentzer's question became, what if we stop limiting the stimulus to what we can lift? What if we load the muscle in the strongest position, hold it until static strength starts to fail, and then lower the weight slowly? That's really the heart of the method. A heavy static hold followed by a controlled negative. A good example is a leg extension, right? Instead of doing a normal set of 8, 10, or 12 reps, you use a heavier weight than normal and get help moving the weight into the fully contracted position with your legs straight. From there, you hold that position as hard as possible, not casually, not just a cute little pause at the top, but actually fighting the weight. Once your ability to hold starts breaking down, you lower the weight slowly under control. And that lowering phase matters because the negative is where you can handle the most load, so it creates this really intense final demand on the muscle. In Mentzer's later approach, this could be done for just one hold and one negative. And I know that sounds crazy to a lot of modern lifters because modern training culture has people thinking every workout needs 20 sets, 6 angles, 3 finishers, and some dramatic near-death experience before it counts. But that's exactly what Mentzer was pushing back against. He was trying to separate productive intensity from junk fatigue, because fatigue and stimulation are not the same thing. You can leave the gym completely cooked and still not have trained intelligently. You can do endless volume and mostly just accumulate exhaustion. This is where a lot of lifters mess themselves up. They judge a workout by how tired they feel, but Mentzer judged it by whether the workout delivered a growth stimulus the body could actually recover from. That's a completely different standard. Static holds are useful because they make the stimulus very concentrated. You're asking the target muscle to produce maximum or near maximum force in a loaded position, you're keeping the effort brief, and then you're getting out before the workout turns into a recovery dead. That's also why exercise selection matters. Static contraction training works best on exercises where the muscle is actually loaded in the contracted position. Not every lift is a great fit. Some exercises are hardest in the stretch position, some lose tension at the top, and some are just too unstable or awkward to load safely this way. Mentzer favorite movements where the contracted position still has real resistance. Leg extensions, leg curls, pec deck, lateral raises, calf raises, certain pull-down variations, and machine curls. Those are movements where you can get into the shortened position, hold against real resistance, and then lower under control. That's one of the reasons machines can be so useful for this style of training. A good machine lets you apply force safely without wasting energy trying to balance the load. And with static holds, setup matters. If you're using a weight heavier than your normal rep weight, you need control. You might need a training partner, and you need to choose exercises where getting into position actually makes sense. This is not an excuse to ego lift. That's not the point. The point is precision. Maximum effort doesn't mean reckless effort. And the science behind this isn't magic. When force demand gets high enough, your nervous system has to recruit larger, higher threshold motor units. Those are the fibers most associated with strength and growth potential. A hard static contraction can create serious recruitment because the muscle is being asked to produce force without movement helping cover up weak points. On top of that, mechanical tension is one of the big drivers of hypertrophy, and a hard static hold is basically concentrated mechanical tension. No momentum, no speed, no sloppy reps, just the muscle under load. That's why a real static contraction can feel harder than it looks. Somebody watching might think nothing is happening, but the person doing it knows exactly what's happening because the whole body is trying to generate force into a position that barely moves. That kind of effort exposes you fast. You can't hide behind rhythm, you can't bounce through it, and you can't turn the set into cardio. It's just you, the target muscle, and the resistance. This is also why static work can be useful for older lifters or beat up lifters. As you get older, the issue isn't always motivation. A lot of older lifters still want to train hard. The issue is that joints, connective tissue, sleep, stress, and recovery don't behave the same way they did when you were 19. When you're young, you can get away with stupid volume for a while. You can train too long, recover badly, live on caffeine and bad decisions, and somehow still make progress. But eventually, the body starts charging interest. Elbows hurt, shoulders get cranky, knees start talking back, and all of a sudden, efficiency matters. That's where Mentzer's philosophy becomes more relevant, not less, because the question becomes, how do I create a strong enough stimulus without burying my recovery? Static holds can help answer that. They let you train force production hard without always needing a ton of reps. They can reduce some of the wear and tear that comes from grinding through endless volume, and they can teach you what real effort feels like. But here's the catch. Most people do them way too casually. They hold a position for a few seconds and call it isometrics, but that's not really what we're talking about. A real static contraction isn't passive. It's not just pausing at the top. It's an all-out effort against resistance. If you're doing an overcoming isometric, you're pushing or pulling against something that doesn't move. If you're doing a loaded static hold, you're resisting a weight that's trying to pull you out of position. Either way, the key is intent. You're trying to produce force hard, which is why a 5 to 10 second effort can actually matter. The duration is short, but the intensity is high. This is where Mentzer's thinking really separates itself from normal gym culture. Most gym culture is obsessed with adding more sets, more exercises, more finishers, more days, more volume. Mentzer's instinct was to subtract. Remove what doesn't contribute. Remove the junk. Remove the parts of training that create fatigue without adding enough stimulus. Static contraction training is almost the purest version of that mindset, because instead of asking how much work you can survive, it asks what the least amount of work is that still gives the body a strong enough reason to adapt. That question is uncomfortable because it attacks the ego. A lot of lifters would rather do more than train harder. More feels productive. More gives you something to brag about. More makes the workout feel important. But harder is different. Harder is honest. A true static hold doesn't care how many exercises are in your program, what your pump looks like, or how intense your training montage seems. It only asks whether you can produce force when there's nowhere to hide. That's why Mentzer's ideas keep coming back. Not because every single thing he said was perfect, and not because everybody should train exactly like him, but because he attacked a problem that still exists today. Most lifters confuse activity with progress. They confuse soreness with growth. They confuse exhaustion with effectiveness. And they confuse doing more work with creating a better stimulus. Mentzer was trying to break that mindset. Static holds were one tool in that larger philosophy. They weren't the entire system, they weren't magic, and they weren't a replacement for all lifting. But they were one way to apply his core principle: maximum meaningful intensity with minimum unnecessary volume. So how would you actually use this today? Start conservatively. Pick 1 or 2 exercises where the contracted position is safe and loaded. A good example is a leg extension, right? A pec deck can work, a machine lateral raise can work, a leg curl can work, and a pull down can work if you can hold the contracted position properly. Use a weight heavier than what you normally use for a full set, but not so heavy that you lose control. Get into the contracted position, hold for around 6 to 12 seconds on upper body movements, maybe 10 to 20 seconds on lower body movements, and when the hold starts to fail, lower the weight slowly, then stop. And that last part is important. Don't immediately turn it into a circus because you got nervous that one hard effort wasn't enough. Actually test it, track it, recover from it, and see whether performance improves. If you want a less extreme version, you can do a normal set to failure first and then add a static hold at the end. So for example, you perform a hard set of machine curls, and when you hit failure, you get help into the contracted position, hold as hard as possible, and then lower slowly. That gives you the benefits of normal reps plus the concentrated static finish. But again, the key isn't just adding intensity techniques randomly. The key is using them with a purpose. Mentzer's philosophy wasn't about making training look hardcore. It was about making training more exact, less wasted work, more focused effort, and better recovery. That's the part people miss when they turn heavy duty into a meme. 1 set, train less, go home. But the real message was more serious than that. Mentzer wanted bodybuilding to be governed by logic instead of tradition. He wanted lifters to ask why they were doing what they were doing. Why this many sets? Why this many reps? Why this frequency? Why assume more is better? Why assume movement matters more than tension? Why assume fatigue equals growth? Those are still good questions. And static contraction training forces you to confront them, because when you strip a movement down to 1 maximal hold and 1 slow negative, there's no fluff left. Either the effort is real or it isn't. Either the exercise loads the target muscle or it doesn't. Either you recover and progress or you don't. That's why Mentzer's static hold method deserves more attention. Not because it's the only way to train, but because it exposes something modern fitness constantly tries to avoid. Training shouldn't be measured by how complicated it looks. It should be measured by the quality of the stimulus and the result it produces. Sometimes the most productive thing you can do isn't another set, another exercise, or another hour in the gym. Sometimes it's 1 brutally hard contraction performed with complete intent, followed by enough recovery for the body to actually adapt. That's the real Mentzer lesson. Not laziness, not shortcuts, and not avoiding hard work. It's focused hard work. the kind of effort that doesn't need to be repeated endlessly because it was actually intense the first time. Whether you agree with his entire system or not, that idea is worth taking seriously because most people aren't undertrained because they lack exercises. They're under-progressing because they lack precision. They do too much of what doesn't matter enough and not enough of what actually forces adaptation. Static contraction training was Mentzer's attempt to solve that. It was a return to intensity, tension, and recovery, and maybe most importantly, it was a reminder that bodybuilding isn't just about lifting weights. It's about using resistance intelligently to make the muscle grow. And if that's the goal, then Mentzer's forgotten static hold method might be one of the most misunderstood tools in the entire heavy-duty philosophy.